We all know the story of a shepherd boy and a sling. But what if I told you David wasn't just fighting a man? He was fighting a remnant of a prehistoric nightmare, a lineage that even the mighty Joshua couldn't fully erase. Welcome back to the Vault. Centuries before David, the Israelites stood at the border of Canaan. Joshua conquered the land, but the Bible makes a chilling note. A few survived in Gaza, Ashdod, and Gath. Gath. That single city became the sanctuary for the last of the Nephilim descendants. For 400 years, they bred, they waited, and they forged a hatred for Israel that would eventually manifest in one man, Goliath. The Valley of Elah, two armies are locked in a stalemate. For 40 days, the earth trembled every morning. Not from an earthquake, but from the footsteps of a champion who defied the living God and the laws of biology. "6 cubits and a span. That's nearly 10 feet tall." Goliath wasn't just big. He was a walking tank. His bronze coat alone weighed 125 pounds. Imagine carrying a grown man's weight as just your shirt. This was Anakim strength. His spear was like a weaver's beam. The iron head alone weighed 15 pounds. In a world of bronze, the Philistines held the secret to iron, making Goliath the most technologically advanced killing machine of the Bronze Age. Every morning and evening, Goliath stepped out. He didn't just want a battle. He wanted to break their spirit. He challenged Israel to a monomatia single combat. If he wins, Israel becomes slaves. The stakes were total. King Saul was a head taller than any Israelite, yet he sat in his tent, shivering. Even the bravest warriors saw Goliath and saw the ghosts of the giants their ancestors feared. The Grasshopper Complex had returned. Enter David, a youth likely no older than 15, bringing roasted grain to his brothers. He doesn't see a giant. He sees an uncircumcised Philistine defying the God of Israel. To David, size was irrelevant compared to spirit. Saul tries to put his heavy armor on David. It's a metaphor for man's way versus God's way. David rejects it. "I cannot go in these," he says. He chooses the tools he knows: a staff, a pouch, and a river. At the brook, David picks 5 smooth stones. Why 5? Some say he was prepared for Goliath's 4 brothers. Even in his youth, David was ready to wipe out the entire remaining giant lineage of Gath. Goliath looks at David and laughs. He sees a boy with a stick. "Am I a dog?" he bellows. He curses David by his gods. It was a clash of worldviews. Dagon versus Yahweh. The physical versus the metaphysical. David's response is the pivot of history.
"You come to me with sword and spear, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts."
A sling in the hands of an expert is as deadly as a .45 caliber pistol. The stone would have been traveling at over 100 miles per hour. Goliath's height was actually his weakness. His forehead was a massive stationary target. The stone didn't just hit him, it sank into his forehead. The giant fell face first. The earth didn't just shake. It groaned. The last great champion of the Anakim had been brought low by a pebble. David finishes the work. He uses Goliath's own sword, an iron blade too heavy for any normal man, to decapitate the giant. This was the ceremonial end of the giant's reign in the Promised Land. The Philistines fled. The terror shifted sides. The Israelites, emboldened by the sight of the fallen Titan, chased them to the gates of Gath and Ekron. The giant slayer had awakened a nation of warriors. David kept the giant's armor as a trophy, but he took the head to Jerusalem. It was a sign to the world. The giants were gone. The inheritance Joshua fought for was finally truly secured by the hand of a shepherd. What are the giants in your life? The Anakim represent the obstacles that seem too big to conquer. But like David, your victory isn't found in matching the giant's strength, but in changing the rules of the fight. The story of David and Goliath isn't just a Sunday school lesson. It's the climax of an ancient war against the Nephilim. If you missed our video on Joshua and the Canaanite giants, click here. Subscribe for more from the Vault.